So you guys want to get better at Geometry Dash, and perhaps you watched my other video of how to get better at Geometry Dash, but you crave more. You want to know what the next step is. Well, I am here to deliver that next step right to you. So in that video that I made, by the way, go check it out if you haven't. There's a bunch of recommendations for demon levels to get better at the game and how to work your way up to demon levels. There's a lot of really good advice there, but clearly it's not everything, and there's a lot of stuff that's left out. There's only so much you can teach in like 20 minutes or however long that was. So what this video is going to be is the logical next step. If you're finding yourself beating easy demons, not fairly easily, but you can beat them in like under 1,000 attempts. Easy medium demons might take you more than 1,000 attempts, but you can still beat, you know, a few medium demons. And you're wondering, well, how do I get better at the game? How do I get more consistent? My advice to you is you need to take a plunge. You need to do a few hard demons, ones that are going to challenge you on different things, and ones that are going to take you a really long time. So I'm going to present to you 3 hard demon levels that actually got me much better at the game. I beat all of these when I was a 60 hertz player. I didn't beat them on 144 hertz. You can do these levels. If you put your mind to them, you can do them, but they might take you a really long time. Just for a little clarification on how long some of these could take, I spent 8,000 attempts on Forest Temple, which was probably my hardest 60 hertz demon that I ever completed. The next step after medium demons, it takes you quite a long time to get better, to get used to a lot of the different game modes, but you got to keep on throwing yourself at them a lot. So I'm going to present to you 3 hard demons that are all really solid for getting you better at the game. So the first one I want to introduce is one called Dance Massacre by Hinds. This is a solid level. It's really fun, and there's a lot of things that you can learn when you play it. This took me 3,000 attempts around to beat the level when I did play it the first time. Dance Massacre by Hinds is a solid hard demon. First part's pretty easy. There's like, you know, some timings. Nothing really too much to note here. I guess one thing to note about this beginning part is this practices like light tapping the button a few times, because if you hold it down, you'll jump when you don't want to. One thing this does practice a lot though is consistency in flying. There's a couple flying parts. Now at the beginning, the flying part, you're going to come to this part a lot, so you'll get really good at this part. Really good at like sliding on platforms like I just did, sliding under, keeping your momentum, like holding down the button as you're sliding underneath and then flying up and controlling the momentum on the way out. There's a few really good parts for flying on this level. For now, we're going to practice some timings. So one thing about Hinds' levels is there's always some really nice ball timings. This goes like really, not really well to the song, but there's like a really nice rhythm to it, but you can't just mash. There's a lot of ball timings on easy and medium demons where you can just mash the ball like a bunch of times to get through a part. But this like tests your kind of discipline. Like right there at the beginning, you can't just like mash. If you mash, you just die. You're like dun, 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 dun. Like it's kind of, there's timings to these balls. To the ball parts, like there too, you can't just mash that. You need to go down, wait a little bit, and then go up, and it really helps with your ball timings, and it really gets you out of the habit of just mashing the button. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that's really solid. And this part's just good practice, like some timings, because you got to hit these jump rings like pretty much right when you're on them. You can't really like buffer that much, so it's decent for timings. And this is good wave practice. We'll do another level which has some wave later, a lot of wave, but this is a pretty tough wave part. Fairly tough for when you like first come to this kind of difficulty, but not too bad. This is nice. This UFO part is awesome, and I love it, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's fantastic because you jump once and then you got to smash there. You jump twice. This next part is really solid UFO practice because it's not like a conventional UFO. Like what you do here is you jump once and then you double click really fast, jump twice, not super fast, but double click, and then double click, jump once, and then you got to kind of like go and jump there but not hit that spike. So the path is a little bit unclear, where you notice how in a lot of demon levels, easy and medium demons, like the UFO path will be very clear. There's a jump ring, like a blue jump ring, exactly where you have to push the button. It's pretty easy to read it, right? Here, it's not that clear where to go. It's really good UFO practice when you need to kind of make your own path in like an open corridor, if that makes any sense. Boom, ba-boom, boom, 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 ba-boom, ba-boom, boom. That is excellent practice because it's kind of like an irregular UFO input section, and you need to get used to that because a lot of hard levels like this and harder levels will have a lot of irregular UFO patterns. It won't be very apparent what to do. And this ball part as well, the discipline part, like right here, you can't just mash. Like if I mash there. You need to kind of wait. And then you can start mashing on those like jump rings, but like solid ball timing practice as well. And you need to be very disciplined. So it's very, very good ball practice this level. And it's good robot practice. You need to be able to control your jumps here. You can't jump too high, tiny jumps, waiting, and then doing also a medium jump. You can't jump too high. Pretty solid robot practice. And because it's kind of close-ish, not close, but getting there towards the end of the level, the stress is on. So it's good practice for that. More solid, unconventional UFO gameplay where you gotta like hit that green jump ring late. And then as you're going up, you need to smash the bottom as early as possible so you can hit that pink jump orb. Really solid UFO practice in this level. Unconventional parts here. And you need to have discipline there as well. You can't just mash that UFO button, right? It's really, this level's so good at getting you out of the habit of just mashing at parts you think you need to mash at. And this part here is excellent practice. You'll notice in a lot of harder levels, there's not just free cube jumps. A lot of the times you have to jump out of those one block gaps. And this at the end of the level is excellent practice at getting you used to those particular jumps. And one thing that's nice is it allows you to get practice at reading how to do them. Like here, I hold down the button because you can, but not all the jumps you can hold down the button. So like, depending on how you transition, depends on how you can hold it down. And then you get to this ship part, which is pretty tough. You know, you got to keep yourself steady, and it's really stressful because it's right at the end of the level. At the end of the level, when you're stressing out and you're so close, if the ending's just free, you know, if the last 10%, you're like, oh, I did it. It's so free, easy, you know? That's not good practice because a lot of Geometry Dash is a mental game. Even though your heart's racing, you still have to be able to concentrate. This ship part is excellent practice for that. It's excellent ship practice because it's pretty tight flying, and it's excellent practice at keeping your calm. This is such a solid level for getting better at the game. If I had played this before Forest Temple, it would probably have taken me like 9,000 attempts. Forest Temple was like a huge leap from my previous level, and so I really just went headfirst into that, and it took me forever, but it made me better. But if I were to do it again, I probably would have beaten Dance Massacre before Forest Temple. It would have been a more natural progression, right? So I'm gonna try to beat it now. And there we go. Dance Massacre. And you can do it too. I believe in you. But it is pretty hard, and it took me way longer than I thought. 20 minutes. Holy crap. Wow! That's a great hard demon that'll get you better at the game. It's a lot of practice with discipline on your timings. It's really good practice having a hard part at the end. It's good flying practice. It's good wave practice. It's good UFO timing. It's good robot jump. It has a mix of a lot of stuff that's going to make you better at the game. It's going to be frustrating. It's meant to be frustrating. This isn't going to be like these levels that I'm recommending today. They're going to be very hard. And if you're taking a jump from medium demons to these are going to be very hard levels to you. They're going to take a lot of time, a lot of frustration, but they're gonna make you better. The next level we're doing is one I did in 2015. This is one of the earliest hard demons I did, which is 9 Circles by Zobros. This has timings. This part at the beginning is pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Pretty chill. This doesn't really make you better because, you know, you'll be playing this a lot. However, this part here is flying from slopes, and this is going to make you better at the game because the main part of this level, the wave part, is like maybe 50% of the level. Yeah, sure. But to get to the wave part consistently, you got to go through this ship part, which is pretty tough. And you got to go through the ball part that has some timings and a bunch of fakes. So you need to get super consistent at these parts just so you can go and you can get to the wave consistently. Now, the hard part about this is, you know, you got to fly through those spikes, which is nuts. And that part, you don't just sit there. You go up and then you got to tap it like a little bit. So this is really good for like light taps and momentum control on the ship part. It's awesome for that. Pretty tough. And then the ball part will get better at some timings. Got to wait on that. You got to hit that a little late. Avoid all those fakes, you know. Go down there. Don't hit the jump pad. Hit those right away. And boom, voila, miss all those. So you have to memorize all of that ball part, and you have to get consistent at the ship just so you can have an attempt at the wave. And that puts a lot of pressure on you once you do get to the wave. You're like, this level's all about the wave, but the beginning's pretty tough too. So yeah, you got to be able to do that consistently so you can get consistent attempts at the wave, which is nuts. Fortunately, the hardest part of the wave I find is like the very beginning part. This part feels the tightest. Once you get through here, which is gonna, you know, take a lot of practice to get consistent at, but once you're able to get through here, this wave part, you've improved at the wave a lot already. This level has ball timing practice. This level has ship practice, a lot of wave practice though too. But some of the wave parts, like, you'll get really consistent at, like this upside down wave part's not particularly hard. And then it's the mini wave practice, and it's quite an open area for the mini wave, which is nice. So the mini wave isn't like particularly hard, but it's solid practice to get you used to it, because the mini wave, when you start doing some decently hard mini wave stuff, like the mini wave feels out of control, because when you're going at 3 times speed like this, and the one mini wave input is like, you know, you go pretty far up the screen. So learning how to control the mini wave is tough. And this level is solid practice at learning how to control that mini wave, you know? Now, I will say that this level does lack a lot of wave practice, like going through portals and like holding the button through certain portals. But we're going to get to that in like the next level, which has a little bit of that. Which this will prepare you for the next level really well. And now, once you've gone through the wave, the beauty of this level, the absolute beauty of it is it's not over. You think it's over, but it's not. This part here is a classic example of solid practice of keeping a cool head, because there's a bunch of little timings in this cube section. You need to know exactly what you're doing. You need to get really consistent, because your heart's going to be a racing once you get here for the first time. You gotta wait, jump through there, wait on that, hit that late. All these little timings make this last part so stressful. I mean, there's not that many like super hard timings, but there's just like 3 timings that you gotta watch out for that will kill you, and they will. Boom, hit that late, and then hold down the button, jump there. Oh my god, see? Dun, 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 dun. I think we're done. Dun, dun. There's no more timings. Yeah, there's just a few timings that will murder you when you get there, and guaranteed you'll die once there, and it's gonna like make your heart explode. But that's all part of getting better at levels. It's all part of learning how to keep your cool at the end, and it's good timing practice. So this level is solid for obviously wave practice and mini wave practice, but it's pretty fair. It's not like severely difficult. Like, you'll be able to get through. It's just the hard part about it is the ship is pretty tough, and the ball memorization and ball timings, you get through all of that. That's like 30 seconds of the level. Maybe not that long, maybe like 20 seconds, 25 seconds, but you get through all of that, and then only after that do you get an attempt at the wave. Let's do it. 9 circles. Okay, so 9 circles didn't take me as long as Dance Massacre. It still took me a little longer than I thought it was going to take me. I had to practice one more time. This is excellent practice. It's going to get you really comfortable with the wave. It's going to force you into being comfortable with the wave after you've gone through some hard parts, so the pressure is going to be on. It's really solid flying practice because you have to do that flying part at the beginning every single time before the wave. You're going to get much better at flying and doing some light inputs on flying. You know, there's a lot that this teaches you on. It teaches you to keep your cool at the end, teaches you some timings, but it's a very fair level and it's very solid. Still to this day, it's a solid, fun level. So this one as well took me like 6,000 attempts when I beat it the first time. This is probably one of the first, like, other than ToE 2 version 2, this was a really solid hard demon that I beat in like my first year of playing, and it was a huge achievement and it made me much better at the game, as it will you as well if you stick with it. Like I've mentioned before, these levels, they should be kind of fun, but as you're improving at the game, you're going to get really frustrated and you're going to want to give up, but you got to keep on pushing forward, right? And these levels are to get you better, to get you ready for the next step. The next level on the list is Ultra Drivers by LazerBLitz, because we need some dual practice. We need some dual practice, and we also need to mix in a bunch of stuff we've already learned. This level's shorter than the other ones. The other ones are like 1.5 minutes long, maybe even longer, like 1:35, 1:40 seconds. This one's like, I think, just barely over a minute, but it's really tough and you need to be on your toes the whole time. So this level is going to be really good for our dual practice and a bunch of other stuff. It's really good for wave practice with going through a bunch of portals. It's good for some UFO practice, and it's also really good for discipline practice that I was talking about, where you need to keep your cool at the end of the level, because there's like a couple like hard-ish bits at the very end, and it's gonna take you a while to get there, and you don't want to mess up. I messed up here at the end when I got here, and it was the worst thing in the world. Ultra Drivers by LazerBLitz. Let's go. So this is good practice. The beginning is just, there's a lot of moving objects, and I will say this is also good practice for moving objects. So right here is where the duel starts. You need to like how do I explain this? So what you need to do is you like hold down the button, then you let go, and then you got to kind of like fly up and hold down the button as you fly up, and then hit that like in the top cube, you need to hit the jump ring, and then you need to kind of straight fly. You keep on tapping the button, so you keep on jumping until you get to the wave. So it's like, it's really good asymmetrical duel practice, and it seems really hard at first, but there's actually quite a lot of room in Ultra Drivers, and this is why I say it's a really solid level to play, because there are a lot of other levels that have like really hard duels in hard demons, much harder than this. This seems hard at first, but it's more about knowing what to do. It's more about figuring out the duel. Once you figure it out, you go, oh, that's actually not so bad, and it gets you much better at reading levels. If you can do Ultra Drivers, you can read a lot of different duels. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 and you go up, and look at all that room. There's so much room to work with there. It's just a matter of knowing what to do and keeping your cool, right? Boom, 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 go up nice and early, and then up, and then boom. And then it's just a section that has some jump ring timings, which is easy because you just hold down the button at every single jump ring, but you got to make sure you don't hit any fakes, which is still pretty good practice in and of itself. Bum, bum, hold, and then boom, and then a tight little wave section. We've already had a lot of wave practice, so this shouldn't be too hard for us if we can get through 9 circles, yeah? It looks like this is super tight, but there's a whole lot more room than you actually think, right? And that part there, like as you go through like the middle section where it's open, you can kind of go up a little bit and then go straight up through. You don't have to wiggle really far. So it's good, like kind of, I don't know, practice your setups on a wave. I don't know. It's still decent wave practice, but if you can get through 9 circles, you can get through that. So this part is just a matter of knowing what to do. As soon as you can, you just go up and hold down the button, but you can't hold down the whole time, because if you hold down the whole time, then you'll fly into there. So you need to like hold down the button and then like control yourself, and then go through that portal and then go through. So this level's really solid for those transitions, the transition practice, because the other levels we played so far were pretty clean transitions. Like there were some parts in Dance Massacre, like you got to fly up through a portal to fly up as the wave going into the robot, you had to fly up. And that's like pretty good practice, but this level has like some real like fast and tough transitions. So it's good transition practice as well. Hold, boom, and then get ready for that. And then you can actually just skip a jump orb there, which is really convenient. That part's really easy. And then more dual practice, but it's chill because all you do is you focus on the bottom one, you go to the top, you double click, you wiggle in a wave, and then you do the exact same double click there as the waves come together. It's a pretty chill duel. And then you got a pretty chill cube section here. But you got to practice like going off the screen like that and making sure you're ready for inputs, which is actually solid practice for level like Cataclysm, which has a very similar thing. Now here you transition, you just kind of fall, make sure you fly up a little bit. Good practice for that. And then hitting that jump ring. Hitting a jump ring as a ship is something you're gonna have to get used to because it's in a lot of demon levels. Boom, hit that, hold, and you can just hold that one down all the way. And now you get ready for the hard part. When it comes to duels, usually the way you play them is there's always one that you focus on. There's one game mode you focus on, and then you switch between the game modes depending on like which part's more important, right? So for the first part here, you focus on the UFO. You see the UFO needs to go through those cogs. Boom, yeah, why? Boom, boom, and you go up top there. And then as soon as that UFO goes through the cogs, you switch your focus to the wave at the top. So this is good practice for switching that focus. Boom, wiggle, and go up through here. That's pretty easy wave stuff. You just focus on the wave still. Now, when you go through here, the thing that happens when you go through here is the cube at the top hits a reverse jump pad, a blue jump pad. And so what you do is you're going to fly up as the wave, and then you got to let go of the button kinda because you're going to be reverse gravity. So you still focus on that wave the whole way through, but you're going to change gravity as soon as you hit that blue jump pad, and it throws you off, and it's pretty hard even though you have a lot of space to work with. Boom, and then switch gravity and get used to that. So it's a pretty fair duel. There's a lot of space to work with. Like I said, it's mostly about figuring it out and figuring out where to draw your attention to, which is solid practice because you need to know how to do that for hard demons and demons beyond this, right? So you double click, 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 double click, double click. It's just like 3 double clicks that you got to get used to, but it's all about learning just like UFO timings in a wide open space, right? Boom. And now this UFO, or this, not UFO, this wave part here is really solid practice for going through portals and switching gravity and controlling yourself as you go through there. There's moving objects here, which seem like confusing at first. But like the path is, once you get used to it, the path is pretty easy to read, and it's all about just controlling your gravity as you go through portals. It's not particularly hard, but because it's right near the end, it can be a little stressful. And now the ending hits. Like I said, the level's not that long, but this can really stress you out. You don't hit anything there. All you gotta do is 3 inputs. You tap once, and then tap light, and then tap light at the bottom. It's really stressful, but that's why we're here, because you need that kind of stress practice, right? You need to be able to do good under pressure. That's the name of the game. So I went over what was really good practice here. Let me show you. Let me just do it. Oh, ultra drivers. See, you got to keep your cool. You got to be good at that ending. Are you just? Wow. That was so close. The nightmare returns. Are you kidding me? Oh! Oh yeah, shit, I'm out of milk. I'm out of milk. I'm out of milk. What am I gonna do to get my milk? You stupid ending. Another purpose of me beating these levels is to show you that persistence can win you these levels. Like, I died at 96% on Ultra Drivers tonight. I also died at 95 and 94. I think like I died like 2 or 3 times there at the end, but you know what? I didn't give up, and I just kept on going. I said to myself, you know, I could just say, hey, this is a tutorial. I'm not going to complete this level in the video, but no, I decided I'm going to beat it, because that's the persistence you need to have if you're going to beat these. These are going to take you a long time. I put about 2,000 attempts into this level back in the day, maybe like 1,800 or something, which actually isn't that much, but I had already beaten all my other like 60 Hertz milestone demons coming into this, so it wasn't as hard as the other ones. But Ultra Drivers is solid dual practice. It's solid portal practice. and it's solid keeping your cool practice. So it's good, and changing gravity in certain parts. It's a very solid level. It's going to get you better at the game. Like when it comes to hard demons, and once you start getting into hard demons, these 3 levels right here, Dance, Massacre, Ultra Drivers, and 9 Circles, if you can beat these 3, you can beat any hard demon. And the reason why I recommend these particular levels, I know a lot of you might say they're, oh, Eric, they're so old. These are the levels that I know work because they worked for me. I did these on 60 hertz, whatever you're playing on mobile, 60 hertz, you know, like you can beat these levels. I did them, which means you can too. These are levels that drove me to the next step, which actually I ended up getting 144 hertz after beating these milestone levels, after beating Forest Temple. But the next step would be getting into like the insane demons. Like, I guess Supersonic's a hard demon these days, but Supersonic's a hard demon if it is, which is a step up from these levels. Like, if you beat these levels, you can move on to like Supersonic. You can move on to other Circles levels that are harder, Crimson Clutter, Poltergeist. You can move on to like Necropolis, Acropolis, Ado, those kinds of like insane demon levels, and then which will push you into getting ready for like Cataclysm and stuff like that, the easy extremes. These levels are the logical next step after completing the demons I recommended in the previous video. These are solid levels. I thought I'd give a little tutorial on like, you know, some parts of the levels just to help you out and to give some people some direction, because a lot of people were asking me about another tutorial video. You know, what do I do after the one that you made before? Well, this is it. These 3 levels will make you way better at the game, as they did me, and I wish you the best of luck on them. Now, these levels might not seem fun. You might get to them. They're going to be hard. They're going to frustrate you. You're going to feel like quitting, which I did many times playing these levels. I go through that. You know, you don't see all of it on camera, but there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that did go into these levels back in the day when I was playing them. So stick with it. You will be able to beat them. You will. They might take you a long time. You know, some of them might even take you like the first hard demon you do. If you try Dance Massacre, might take you like 9K attempts. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many attempts it takes you. The only thing that matters is that it's going to make you better at the game, and you will beat it if you throw yourself at it enough. I wish you the best of luck if you're training on these levels, if you're training up from like easy and medium demons. If you do want to see like an updated how to get better at the game, I made that video like 3 years ago. So if you want to see an updated version with like some newer levels of how to get better at the game, from like starting to easy demons to medium demons, if you want to see an updated version, I'll make one sometime in the next month or so. Leave a comment down below. You know, like if you're not up to this level of skill yet, but you want a newer set of levels other than my initial tutorial video, yeah, I'll make another video if you guys want. If you also want me to make a part 3 where I go into detail on like some insane demons and levels that'll make you better to get ready for easy extreme demons, also let me know in the comment section, and I will certainly work on it, because I had a lot of fun doing this. I actually had a lot of fun coming back and beating these levels. They're good levels, but they were frustrating me. Some of them were really getting to my nerves, but that's the point, because these levels are unforgiving, but they make you so much better at the game. Leave a like down below. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, peace.